This week on Beacon Web News, Sym Kehr checks out the second annual Day of Dialogue. Then, Jabari Shakir previews the MCLA women's and men's basketball teams at Moonlight Madness. And Robert Wehry breaks down the latest entertainment news in Wehry Weekly Entertainment. That's all coming up next on Beacon Web News. Welcome to the November 13th episode of Beacon Web News. I'm Julia Teixeira. Over the weekend, an arrest was made in the alleged sexual assault that took place almost 3 weeks ago on the MCLA campus. Police have arrested 21-year-old Kyron McCarthy of East Boston, Massachusetts. Police arrested McCarthy in Boston last Thursday, and he was arraigned in Northern Berkshire District Court on Friday on charges of aggravated rape. McCarthy is due back in court later on today. On Friday, November 15th, the MCLA Fine and Performing Arts Department will be hosting an alumni gathering following the performance of Sweet Charity. This is an opportunity for alumni, current students, and faculty to mix and mingle. The performance will be at 8 p.m. with the reception afterwards. To purchase tickets, visit mcla.ticketleap.com/sweet-charity. SAC is hosting a Disney-themed karaoke party on Saturday, November 16th from 8 to 10 p.m. in Sullivan Lounge. Stop by to enjoy drinks, snacks, and get your sing on. And speaking of fun activities, Robert Wehry breaks down all the latest entertainment news in this week's edition of Wehry Weekly Entertainment.
Thanks, Julia. Welcome to this week's episode of Wehry Weekly Entertainment News. The weather may be cooling down in North Adams, but concerts are heating up. Many of the town venues are going to be filled with tunes this weekend. First, Donnie and the Dry Heavers are this week's featured High-Low Comedy Club performers. They are a 4-piece indie rock band/jam band from Kingsport, Tennessee. This concert is part of their nationwide shoestring tour. Donnie and the Dry Heavers will be performing at the High-Low on Friday, November 15th at 8 p.m. Tickets for the event cost $12 in advance and $15 at the door. Visit highlowticketspace.com to purchase tickets ahead of time. Next, there will be a chance to see 4 artists at Belltower Records. Eamon Fogarty, Wednesday Kunston, Willie Lane, and Rootless will all be performing at the same show. All of the artists and bands are progressive rock artists known for their throwback styles from the 60s and 70s. The Belltower concert will be taking place on Saturday, November 16th at 7 p.m. Belltower Records is located at NORAD Mill on 60 Roberts Drive, Suite 301. While the concert is free, the bands are requesting a $5 cover charge. At Masmoka, Shania Taub will be performing at courtesy of the Sundance Institute Theater Lab. She is an award-winning songwriter and playwright and will be performing songs from the American Songbook, which includes some of the most famous songs of the 20th century. In addition, there will be many special guest artists. Shania will be performing Saturday, November 16th at 8 p.m. in Club B10. Tickets cost $10 for students. Visit massmocha.org to purchase your tickets ahead of time. Finally, the major movie debuting this weekend at the Movieplex is Charlie's Angels. This is a revisioning of both the 1970s TV show and the 2000s movie franchise and is sure to find fans new and old. Charlie's Angels stars Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott, and Ella Balanska and is directed by Elizabeth Banks. This movie also has an interesting local connection. Banks was born and raised in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Not only that, but she and I graduated from Pittsfield High School and studied theater under the same teacher. She is also the screenwriter and co-stars and is the first female director in the history of the Charlie's Angels franchise. Charlie's Angels' first showing is scheduled for Thursday, November 14th at 4:30 p.m. Visit northadamsmovieplex.com for all future dates and times. This movie is rated PG-13 for action, violence, and some language. That ends this week's episode of Wehry Weekly Entertainment News. I'll be back every week to discuss the many concerts, art exhibits, movies, and more going on in North Adams and surrounding towns. Back over to you, Julia.
As part of the 2019-2020 season, the MCLA men's basketball team will be visiting Western New England University. The game will be on Friday, November 15th at 8 p.m. And MCLA's women's basketball team will be visiting Williams College for their third game of the season. The game will be in the LaSalle Gym on Saturday, November 16th at 6 p.m. The Adams Board of Health is considering putting a cap on the amount of stores in the town that can sell tobacco in order to reduce the number of teens who are purchasing tobacco products. On Saturday, November 16th, potential students will have one more chance to visit the Berkshires at the second open house. Starting at 9:40 a.m., families will have the chance to tour the campus while mingling with faculty and staff. And MCLA's men and women's cross-country teams will compete in the MCAA Regionals on November 16th at Bowdoin. And speaking of sports, with the MCLA basketball season in full swing, BWN's Jabari Shakir was there for the start of it at Moonlight Madness.
The MCLA students and faculty celebrated the beginning of the women's basketball and men's basketball season with Moonlight Madness. Moonlight Madness is a competition between all classes to show off their school spirit and to compete in various games. Also, they watched performances by Nexus Step Team, Dance Company, and the MCLA cheerleaders. The three games that were played were tag, telephone, and dodgeball. Also, I interviewed Richley Bizareth, one of the coordinators of Moonlight Madness, and his thoughts on the turnout of the event.
I think the overall turnout was pretty solid. I feel like there was a good amount of seniors, juniors, freshmen, and sophomores that was there. I think everyone came with good energy, good vibes, so I think it was pretty good overall.
As a graduating senior, Richley hopes to keep the tradition of Moonlight Madness alive and fun.
Well, I'm a senior, so I'm not going to be here to see it next year. But for what I can expect for next year, hopefully, they keep the tradition of having games and activities for the students to enjoy, and also too just to keep trying out the sports teams. Probably add a few more performances. Do a little bit more. But I think next year is going to be it's going to be better. It's going to improve upon this year.
I interviewed Coach Lauren Stock on her expectations on her upcoming season and her new playbook or schemes with her new players.
I think what I'm most excited about is kind of to see the new freshman transfers kind of come in and kind of coincide with the people that we've had here, kind of mesh together well, kind of see what we're going to produce this year. Offense is going to look a little bit different just because we have different caliber players. but I'm just excited to see the just different chemistry this year. Yeah, we've changed a few things up, and you guys will see that throughout the season. We're guard dominant. We have a lot of guards, and we're actually a little bit small in the 4 spot. So we're looking to kind of rely on our athleticism, fundamentals, and being disciplined and kind of getting up and down the floor. We'll have some similar sets, and then we're going to throw some different things out there that'll be very different than last year.
I am Jabari Shakir, and this is the Beacon Web News.
And now from the Beacon. Despite a nearly 2-month delay, installation of the new Verizon cell tower on top of the Angelo Campus Center is almost complete. In September, the Beacon reported that installation was scheduled to be finished by the end of the month. Associate Dean of Information Technology Ann Bergeron said in an email that complications with Verizon had delayed the process. MCLA's Volunteer Center Right Stuff program celebrates its 10-year anniversary of continuing to help 5th and 6th graders gain a new perspective of creative writing. This semester's group of 14 students are working with program coordinator Tara Valin and 4 to 5 student volunteers to learn that writing is not a form of punishment. MCLA students will volunteer their Saturday morning and afternoon on November 16th to give back to the Berkshire community for Winter Blitz, a one-day community service event established by Williams College 12 years ago. Nicole Comstock, Director of Title IX and Equal Opportunity, hosted a panel on Friday, November 8th to clarify and explain how MCLA responds to sexual assault. MCLA's theater's second production of the fall semester, Sweet Charity, opens tomorrow night, November 15th at 8 p.m. in Venable Theater. Sweet Charity is a musical adaptation of the Federico Fellini film The Knights of Cabria and book by Neil Simon, featuring music by Cy Coleman and lyrics by Dorothy Fields. MCLA hosted its second annual Day of Dialogue on Thursday, November 7th, as a full day of workshops and speaker events centered on strengthening awareness and understanding topics around diversity. And for more information on any of these stories, you can pick up your copy of The Beacon in many locations around campus or visit www.theonlinebeacon.com. And speaking of the Day of Dialogue, BWN's Sym Kehr sat down with Chief Diversity Officer Christopher McDonald Dennis to talk about the day's events.
The Day of Dialogue is a day full of inclusion, awareness, and discussion.
The Day of Dialogue is a suspended day of classes where students, faculty, staff, community members, and alum can come together and participate in workshops and sessions that really allow us to talk across difference, to learn about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and to really I would say change the campus for the better to actually make us more an inclusive campus.
I think it's a great opportunity for us to open a dialogue about difference, about other. It's a good starting point for us to sort of frame a year-long's worth of work and dialogue. So I think as an event in and of itself, I think it's been very well put together. There's a lot of opportunity, and I hope that there's further dialogue that goes on after this day.
I think it's a fantastic opportunity for all members of the MCLA community to just appreciate the differences and how we can support our students and be the best that we can.
I think that it was a very successful day. We learned a lot from last year's Day of Dialogue and helped streamline our planning process and put a little more thought into things like the program, which I think looked beautiful this year.
I thought it was a really engaging day, a lot of good participation. I saw a good array of students attending the events, which is really important.
You know, it's really for the entire community. It's for students. I think especially this year around educating for a diverse community. I really want students to know about the different opportunities that exist on campus to learn about diversity and diverse ways of learning. So community-based learning, doing community service and things like that. But I also think that it's for faculty to be able to say, this is how my colleagues might grapple with some issues.
I really appreciate how open and honest people were. You know, people warmed up very quickly. I could see that this is not a conversation that's foreign to folks who are sitting at these tables, and so I appreciate how folks were able to open up, talk with one another in very open ways, and also tweet about their experience to really share their experience with people beyond the walls of MCLA.
For Beacon Web News, I'm Sym Kehr.
Want to learn how to build a strong credit history? Student Financial Services is offering a free workshop on Sunday, November 17th at 2 p.m. in Sullivan Lounge. You can reserve your spot by emailing finaid@mcla.edu. Attention MCLA commuter students, every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m., come join MCLA staff in the Commuter Lounge for Tea Time Tuesdays. Each week, commuter students and MCLA staff will discuss the many services on campus. This week's topic will be the information about the Career Center. On Thursday, November 21st, stop by CSI Room 128 for President Burge's office hour. Starting at 1:30 p.m., students can come and ask any questions in regards to MCLA. Need a ride home for Thanksgiving? RPS is providing a Thanksgiving bus trip to Boston. The bus will depart MCLA on Tuesday, November 26th at 5 p.m. and will travel to the Alewife T station in Cambridge. The bus back to MCLA will depart the Alewife T station on Sunday, December 1st. Tickets are $70 round trip. For more information, stop by RPS at Townhouse 89. And that's it for this week. To stay up to date with BWN, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/MCLA BWN. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.